Hi artists, it's Mrs. Rhodes. I'm going to demonstrate how to use our Presto foam. This foam I just buy on Amazon. It's called Innovart Presto foam. And it's a printing plate that we're going to carve into. It doesn't matter which side, they both work the same. You're going to, with a Sharpie, gently write your name in one corner. And the reason you're going to push gently is because we don't want our name to carve, because whenever you press into this foam with any force, it actually carves. So the reason I wrote my name at the edge is because in case I want to try again, I'm going to use the back. And we only get one piece of foam. So you need to keep that in mind, that if you make a mark that you're not happy with, then you just work that into your art today. I'm going to start with my ballpoint pen. It's called a ballpoint pen because there's a little ball on the end that rolls around when you draw with it. And this is important because this is what's going to carve into our foam. I'm just going to keep the cap safe on the end of my pen so it doesn't get lost. And it doesn't actually matter if the ink shows up. We actually want to be pressing with medium pressure, not so hard that it pokes through, but hard enough to make a little indentation. And I'm looking at my sheet, or you're looking at the ones that you drew previously, to carve your robot onto your foam. And you want to fill this whole space. If you have a tiny, tiny robot, it's going to be hard to carve. So you want to start with the head shape big enough where it matches kind of this rectangle. So I'm going to start with my head shape of choice. And sometimes when you carve the first time, it's not hard enough. So you can always go back and just go over one more time or a couple times until it's actually indented, where you can touch it and feel that it's pressed down. I'm going to keep carving out my robot, and I'm not pushing too hard because I don't want a hole in my foam, but I am pushing hard enough to feel and notice that it's indented. I'm just going to time lapse through this video so you have plenty of time to create yourself. All right, now that my plate is carved, I'm going to check and feel and see if any spots are not carved deep enough. Like right here, I might carve these lines deeper, because otherwise when I color, my color is going to get into those spots and it's not going to show up on my printing. So I'm just double checking, going over the spots that I feel aren't quite deep enough one more time. And then once you've felt all the spots, you're ready to grab your colors. When you're coloring today, you want to pick colors that if they mix, they're going to be okay, because sometimes when the colors get wet, they do mix a little bit. So just be mindful of that. You're going to color everything that is raised. So you're not trying to get it inside the crevices or the parts that you carved. You want to keep those clean. Sometimes it helps. You have 5 minutes to get your breakfast and get to class. Sometimes it helps to use this long edge of your marker so that your point isn't accidentally getting inside, and you're just being really gentle, because our marker might accidentally try to carve just like our pen did, and we don't want our marker to carve, especially if you're using a skinny marker. We want to try really hard not to let it carve our foam. So I'm just going to keep coloring. I'm going to time lapse this once again, and then I'll show you how to do the print. Now I'm ready to make my print. The best part, I'm going to grab a Sharpie and I'm going to write my name on the bottom. This is going to be the front. I'm actually going to do that on both so I don't forget, because we're going to make 3 today. If you have time to make more than 3, you can, but 3 is the minimum print that you're going to make today. I'm going to scooch one out of the way so it doesn't get ruined. I want to move anything out of the way that I don't want to get marker on it, like your clean papers. Then you're going to grab this water bucket that has a clay sponge. This is a sponge we use for clay projects if we need to smooth any bumps. We're going to use it today to do our print. So it's a clean sponge. That's important that it's clean. You have a tiny bit of water in here. You're going to get the sponge wet, and then you're going to squeeze all the water out completely. You don't want any drips, because if our paper gets too wet, it's going to ruin our print. So now, since I use Sharpie, I'm not worried about it blending. That's important that we use Sharpie to write our name, not marker. I'm getting my paper wet from corner to corner. I'm just rubbing the sponge across. I can use a clean finger. The reason it's clean is because we don't want to get marker on our clean paper. If a little marker gets on there, that's okay. Now my paper is evenly damp. I'm going to flip my stamp over kind of quickly. I'm going to line it up the best I can. I'm going to press it down and I'm going to rub every little spot. I like to do kind of circular motion to make sure that I get every corner and edge and in the center. If you don't press down, then it's not going to touch that marker to your paper. So this part you do want to take your time. It's not a rush because you worked hard on the marker. You don't want to not have it show up on your paper. So I'm going over the spots a few times until I'm sure I haven't missed anything, especially the little details. You want to definitely get those spots. And then the edges one more time, and finally we peel to reveal. And our design is a masterpiece with our name with Sharpie that stands out super well. So now I'm going to scooch this guy either out of my way on the floor next to my spot or on the drying rack if they're in your way. And then I'm going to make my second one. You can just wipe this off with a damp paper towel. And then you're going to color it one more time, print, clean it off, color it a third time, print, clean it off. And then you get to take your robot stamp home with you so you can make more at home over the weekend and summer.